People talk about blocking. People talk about, just dropping it short so that they can't bang anymore. So we don't want to give them that. And we don't want to block either. So initially, it can be a little nerve-wracking, but really what you want to do is you want to counter really hard. This ball is going to end this rally if
I went feet line, but more
feet
in the
line
middle?
in the space. That often is the difference in winning and losing rallies, is just ball placement. We don't want to be straight up when we volley. We kind of want to be about here, like a 10% incline. You kind of back up like that. That is going to make your paddle head up even more. But we actually want to be about here. So now the ball is actually heading down.
Okay.
All right, guys, welcome to the weekly public Q&A stream. We've got Jessica and Elle as our first people up in the Q&A today, and we're not going to even do any introductions or anything like that. We're just going to get to it. They've got some footage that we're going to share and just kind of go through their games. So let me go ahead and get that set up. And then, Elle, you had mentioned that you wanted to really focus on just how to really attack and deal with bangers in tournament situations, correct?
That's correct.
All right, perfect. Let's get your footage up and running. All right, here we go. Now we got the beginning of it. All right, return. Good, good, good. Lob. Not a lot you can do about that. Good. Way to approach back. Really nice. That's not bad. Honestly, you guys did really good in the beginning. Go back just a little bit here. Good. So this is the team that you felt like was banging quite a bit, correct?
Mhm.
Okay. So right off the
Yep.
bat, she goes ahead and hits one, and you're able to pop it back. That's good. Really, we'll watch the footage. I might have a little bit more of an idea, but you always see these YouTube videos about how to defeat bangers and stuff, and people talk about blocking. And we talked a little bit about this last time on the last Q&A. People talk about blocking. People talk about, just dropping it short so that they can't bang anymore. If you drop it short, they get a free ride to the kitchen. The team that gets to the kitchen the most in the game is going to win the game 9 times out of 10. So we don't want to give them that. And we don't want to block either. So initially, it can be a little nerve-wracking, but really what you want to do is you want to counter really hard. So they're, I wouldn't exactly call it a speed up, but they are driving. And so when they drive, your response is the counter, right? So here's their drive, and then just here's your counter right there, okay? So what we want to work on is being confident with our counters to where you didn't really block right there, but you also didn't hit it as hard as you could have, right? It was somewhere in between. Did you feel like that was accurate? So right here, you've got this lady. Jess, can you see this better now? Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, so she drives, and you do a good job hitting back. And actually, I think that might be your second one you did. Yeah, let's go to your first one. All right, so she drives. That's her third. You're hitting back. She drives again, and you hit back again, okay? So at least you're not blocking, right? But at a higher level, what you really want to do is you want to counter on that thing as hard as you can and put her in a really
Okay.
bad spot. So it's a little slow, so she's able to dig it. Just imagine what her shot would look like if that ball's coming at her super fast and she's having to hit from right here instead of hitting from back here, right? So when she's trying to hit
Gotcha.
from right here, she can't get her paddle back to kind of absorb the blow. She's probably going to hit that ball way up in the air, either out of bounds or one where we talked about the principle of escalation last time, right? Like 9, 10, 11. You can get a 12 o'clock on that thing versus getting another that's a 9, right? So you'd rather have this than this, or this in your case. So putting a lot more speed, that's just going to come over practice. Hey guys, just a reminder, if you'd like to be a part of this weekly live Q&A stream, chat, get coached up, and even have a chance to be a guest and get your film broken down, then make sure you join us over at the lab. We have a free option that you can sign up for that includes access to this weekly Q&A stream with other perks as well. Just go to pickleball.lab.co/weekly QA. Now, back to the stream. So when last time we talked about having guys do skinny singles. So one thing you can focus on there when you're on return side is hitting your return and then hitting as good of a fourth as you possibly can, meaning hitting their feet line, hitting space, right? And then hitting as hard as you can, speed. Because the faster it goes, the harder it is to react to, and be willing to hit it out of bounds. It's just skinnies, right? It's just practice. Be willing to hit it out of bounds. You could also, I had you guys practice your thirds. You guys could also have, you could feed let's say you're at the kitchen, you feed Elle a ball. She hits her drive from the baseline and you counter hard. And then when you counter, she tries to handle it and drop it in the kitchen, right? Then you start all over. Soft, like a they call it a cooperative feed, right? Cooperative feed to her, that's a return. She hits her third hard, you counter hard fourth, then she tries to play the ball off fifth, play it into the kitchen, fifth shot drop, third shot drive to fifth shot drop, play it in the kitchen, start back over. That'll help you actually start countering. So you can replace the thirds that I had you do when you're doing drives on the thirds on your drill schedule. Because you do drops and then do drives, or do drives and then drops. When you do the drives, maybe mix that in instead of just hitting drives over and over. Does that make sense? Because that's how you're really going to handle bangers, is being able to counter. Now, getting a two-handed backhand is really going to help with that, but I would say you've got to get really good at topspin first on the forehand before, get it pretty good. I'd say, 10's like Roger Federer, right? Like 5 is kind of decent. 1 is a beginner. You probably are looking for like a 5 or a 6 before you start to get a two-handed backhand. But the two-handed backhand will really help with that. Does that make sense? All right. Any questions on that before we go on?
I actually have a question. So one scenario I noticed is on the third one, I try to drive hard. The good opponent, they would counter back pretty hard and pretty deep. Then a lot of times I felt I put Jess in a position. She was having a little hard time to get that back. So going back to your point, if I drive hard, they return, she needs to counter. I don't know how that plays out for her.
Yeah, she wouldn't counter. She would be on the fifth potentially, right? And so I know it feels like, I put my partner in a bad spot. Really, you want to look at it as, and let me just clarify the scenario. The scenario being you serve, they return, you hit your third shot drive, and they counter hard back on the fourth, correct? Okay. So it's not that you put your partner in a bad spot. A lot of times we put our partner in a bad spot, we feel like bad, like worse. You should feel maybe not just as bad, but yeah, you should feel just as bad if you gave yourself that ball, right? Like it's an equal thing. It's not just your partner, right? We don't want you to have that ball either. And so that's just the quality of your drive. So over time, as you get better and better at drives, and you get better at topspin, you're going to be driving the ball in a manner that makes the ball dip and it's low and dips below the net, hopefully, and they have to hit up on the ball. So that's not going to get Jess in trouble. That's going to help Jess out. It's not going to get you in trouble. It's going to help you out. So I would say, if they countered hard, it's because you hit a bad drive. It's not that you did anything wrong. It's just you hit a bad drive. You got to hit a good drive. And then you can also look at positioning too. So going through the middle a lot of times is really good. The pros are going to try to drive middle, or they're going to try to drive at the chicken wing to get like a really weak ball back. So your targeting is important as well. So does that answer your question? It's not so much that you put Jess in a bad spot, you just hit a bad ball. Does that make sense?
To summarize, so I want to drive preferably to opponent's chicken wing, and I want to drive with topspin, so it's down.
Or the middle. You can go middle as well.
Yeah,
but honestly, if you have a low dipping ball, the targeting matters a lot less. Now the targeting's a cherry on top, but the targeting matters a lot less if you have a low dipping ball. They can't do much with that anyway. So I would say your ball was high. If Jess got pounded, your ball was high. Jess can't get pounded. You can't get pounded if your ball's low and dipping. Does that make sense?
Sure, but at our level, we're not going to hit it perfectly every single time, right? So what would be the right strategy then?
I would just keep hitting it. I would just keep hitting it, because you don't want to take like a weakness and kind of just baby it. You just want to get better. And I actually want you to start recognizing when you hit a bad one too. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Every single rep you get in a game where you're hitting a drive is you're 1 rep closer to like perfecting your drive, right? So you got to hit them. And so when you hit a bad one, I want you to recognize it, because when you recognize it, then you get in like a different posture. You get more in like a reset posture, right? Oh, that ball's high. Get ready to reset. Get ready to move. So I want you to start recognizing those things as well. The recognition part of it's really important. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And also, just to your point, after a third shot drive, both me and Jess, well, unless we can recognize this is a super good low dipping ball, we should move up. Otherwise, better to stay
Correct.
put instead of
Yep.
running up.
So
Right?
if let's say that the person's late to the line, so there's a couple of scenarios. They're late to the line, drive and go. So like or not late to the line, that's really open to interpretation. Let me be more clear. They are not making it to the kitchen by 4 or 5 feet. You drive that ball and go, because you have you have like 4 or 5 extra feet between you and the person. And that's time for you to be able to move without needing to stop. You need to stop by the time they're about to hit the ball. But if they're 4 or 5 feet back, then now you have 4 or 5 more feet to move forward, right? That's why when you drive, you should always stop, is because when you drive, if they're at the kitchen, if you were to take a step, you're taking a step as they're hitting the ball. The way the timing works out, you have to be set after you drive because the ball's coming right back. If they give you 4 or 5 feet, you hit a drive, not only do you get that 4 or 5 feet to take at least one step in, but then you actually get time to recognize if it's a good ball as well. So when you drive initially and people are at the kitchen, you can't take a step at all unless you were to know it's a good ball. You won't know. There's not enough time to know. That 4 or 5 feet instead gives you time to see if it's a low ball, and if it is, you can go more than a step or two. You can go, or you can go more than a step. You can probably go 2 or 3 and get right up there and get ready to counter, or you get ready to speed it up. Or if they're late, I would hit and run. I wouldn't wait. And then if somehow you know that you're about to hit a good one, I don't know how you would do that, to be completely honest. Sure. But over time, you guys will get such a good drive that your partner will just be like, you know what? It's better risk reward wise for me to go, because odds are she's going to hit a good one and I want to take advantage of that, and I'll live with it. The trade-off is fine. I'll live with it when she hits bad ones. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yes. I also have
Yeah,
another
sure.
follow-up question regarding when to choose drive versus job.
Yeah, go ahead.
My interpretation is, in general, we still want to push them back as much as we can, but try to hit between their feet and their shins or their knees. Is that depending on that, we choose whether we want to do a drive or drop?
I would say the biggest thing on whether you're going to do a drive or drop, there's 3 things to hit a good drive. Okay. So the first is it's got to be on your forehand, right? Most people don't hit good drives with a one-handed backhand. If you have a two-handed backhand and you can hit it pretty well, that's fine. But let's assume you don't. Most players at this level don't. So it needs to be on the forehand. That's the first thing we're looking for. The second thing that we're looking for is that ball needs to be a certain height. The lower the ball is relative to the net, the worse of an idea it is to drive, because then you have to get the ball up and over, and it's probably going to leave the ball high. Pickleball really can be broken down into low ball, high ball. I think we talked about this last time too. The pros are the pros because they hit low balls every single time. If I could magically give you the ability to hit low balls, you could be the #1 player in the world. Like that is how important it is to hit a ball below the net at contact for your opponent. So if that ball on hitting that drive is too low, you're going to hit the ball up and it's going to leave the ball above the waist or above the net, and they're going to crush it, right? So the ball needs to be a certain height, and then you need to be able to get it in your strike zone. So your strike zone is it's different on everyone, but not that much different. It's only different because of the length of people's bodies, like their arms. And so it's about 2 feet in front of you and probably about 2 feet outside of you. So I'm going to stand up and show you. So it's going to be like my strike zone is going to be somewhere about like right here. Okay. Maybe more like right here. Okay. 2 inside, you're jammed up. 2 outside, you can't get rotation. 2 far behind you, you can't get speed, and you're going to hit up on the ball. 2 far in front of you, you also can't get speed, and you're going to hit the ball on the net. There's a perfect place, and that's why footwork is so important. So in order to hit a good drive, you have to have a good swing, but you have to get your feet to get to the place where that ball is going to bounce right up into your strike zone. And so that's the third thing. If the ball's not in your strike zone, we're not driving. It's going to send the ball on the net, send the ball high. You've got to move your feet and get in the right spot. You get all 3 of those right, go ahead. Now, when out of those 3, the main one to focus on is height. You know if the ball's on your forehand or not. Okay? Your body intrinsically knows that. You probably know whether the ball's going to bounce right up to you or not, or if you're going to have to lunge for it, like one way or the other. Those are really easy to figure out. The one that most people, the key is, the one that most people struggle with is height. They'll just drive low balls. Anything that is probably about at your knee, I'd say a little above your knee, maybe even your mid thigh, that ball and higher, I drive it every single time. Every single time. As long as it's in my strike zone and it's on my forehand. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Okay.
it does.
And then you get a 2-handed backhand. Then you take one of those away. Now you only have to worry about height and strike zone. And so, yeah. Okay. Any questions on that?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Perfect. Jess, any questions? Okay.
Nope.
Great. So you counter back here again. And so this is a perfect example. This is a ball you don't drive. She's trying to drive this ball. She tries to drive that ball, but she's so out of position that she actually, I think, ends up realizing it and tries to lob it instead. And it ends up working out. We saw that. But that's one where you got to drop that. Like at a pro level, or as you guys level up, you guys will punish her for that. And she's lucky she hit that. Like, I think that ball was right on the baseline. She almost lost that point because she tried to hit a ball hard that's low. You can't do that. So good. It was just a really freaking good lob. Like, that's it. Not much you can do about that. And she lobbed in transition and she was off balance. Like that.
I actually thought the ball was going out.
I would have thought it would have. I would have, honestly, when I saw her hit it before I even see the ball at all, I'd be like, and you told me she's lobbing, I'm like, that ball's out of bounds. Either that or it's really short and you guys are going to slam it. I'm not sure which, but she had a good shot. So we'll give it to her. All right, let's watch this next one. Turn. Good drive. Good. This is freaking.
She hit it hard.
This is freaking hilarious. This is crazy. All right. So we're going to fix this. Now, here's the question is, I gave you guys a drill schedule and it's like, all right, well, when do we work? Like, how do we fit this in the drill schedule? You don't. There's just way too much to work on. You have to be very choosy about what you work on. What I have you guys working on right now is the most important, in my opinion, to progress. But eventually, this will be a good thing to add in. A good drill for this, honestly, is for one of you guys so we don't get in bad habits. I would say, a good drill is one of you stand here, and then this person just hammers balls at this person, right? But that's going to get you in a really bad pattern because you don't need to be this player. Like, you don't need to do this. So instead, what I would do is I would have you, let's actually go to our screen. Okay. So what I would have you guys do instead is I would have you guys right here, okay? And I would just have you guys volley back and forth at each other a ton, okay? This is going to get you really used to balls coming at you fast and how to deal with those balls. It's going to help you volleying a lot. Plus the women's game, if you notice, they play off of the line quite a bit at the pro level. They just feel like their reaction time's a little slower than men. Men play right at the line. The power's not as powerful, so people can react a lot quicker, which I guess is antithetical. I need to think about that. But this would just get you ready for that type of game. And then you just volley. Just volley. Someone bounces the ball, volleys back and forth, okay? That's going to help you a lot with having to deal with like this type of player.
So is that a cooperative drill,
No.
or is that like, you're trying to get the person to 12 and nail their
Yeah, so
feet?
probably 2 cooperative balls right off the bat. If you guys are having trouble giving quality shots, ones that people can't attack, like if I were to feed a ball from that position and the ball was high and then you hit a cooperative back and I hit another one high, I would probably then work on my cooperatives. Like that just means you don't have control, and you actually need to work on control, not taking advantage of the situation. So that's a great question, actually. I probably, if you can't consistently hit each other's stomach a decent amount of time, or at least the silhouette, if you can't get in the silhouette of someone and above their waist, typically on cooperatives, then that's a control issue, and that's really common. Then I would probably just work on that. Once you guys have a lot of control, then I would go game speed. That's what I would do. So yeah, let's go back through and let's watch this and let's see if my counter advice to you, just getting better at counters, would have solved this. Okay. So really good ball here. This is the drive you want. Okay. Height is pretty good and low. So she's making you hit up at an 8 o'clock. Anytime on our third, we make someone hit at a 6, a 7, or an 8, and we avoid the 9, 10, 11, 12, anytime it's at 6, 7, or 8, you can move up. You can move up about halfway. There's actually a better rule on that, but like that's kind of like where we need to start with transition. She could have moved. She's on a drive, so she can't move, but if she ever hit a drop like that, that was getting you to hit up like that, she could go. Now, this is one where her partner, if her partner, going back to what we had talked about earlier, if her partner could have known that she was going to hit that shot, then her partner would have really liked to have moved up to about right here. Okay, so let's see if that would have done anything here. So no, because you laid it up a little bit, which that ball, I'm not really sure there's much you can do with that ball. Noticing that they're further back, you could have left some height on it to get it back to them because her partner, didn't crash. So you could have left it high, but if she had crashed up here, you've got it. That ball you hit was a perfect ball. So knowing that she's back, I'd probably hit that ball a little harder. It stays higher longer, but it does get to their feet. All right, so she drives again. Okay, and then Jess, we're sitting here. We're sitting backhand. Actually, you weren't sitting backhand. You were in good paddle ready position. So you're paddle ready here. You just anticipated she was going backhand, which the way she hit the ball, that ball should have gone to your backhand or gone to L. So here, I love this ball. This ball is going to end this rally if, and can you tell me what the if is?
If I went feet line, but more
Feet
in the
line
middle?
in the space. Yeah. You hit that ball right. Come on.
I went right to her
Yeah,
foot.
you hit that ball right here. So this is her feet line, right? So they're both at this feet line, right? So you draw a line kind of connecting there. She's catty-cornered, but you understand what I'm saying. Foot line, you hit that ball right there, that this point is over because you hit that ball pretty hard. That often is the difference in winning and losing rallies, is just ball placement, right? So I want to point that out just so we're aware of it. I missed that. Let's go back. All right. So then she's able to pound the ball back. All right. So we need a big one here, another one right in front of her this time. So we're not at the feet line and we're not in the center. You could have gone, either here, here, or here. But we don't want it to bounce right up at her. Heck, honestly, you even could have gone right at her. I don't encourage it, but you could have gone right at her as long as the ball didn't bounce in front of her and it bounced at her feet. That was probably the end of that rally. So let's keep going. This is really good. So here, high ball. Man, she tried to lob you again. Great athletic move here to get the ball back. Sure, you want to hit the feet line. She's at the baseline, so you'd have to hit the baseline. I'm just glad you got this ball back. So that's good. It does soften up, though, a little bit. So it gives her a softer ball that typically most people would drop here. But then she drives again. So we've got our backhand counter in front, right? Not in the feet line. Sorry, not at the feet line and right at her, right? So then she hits another one. Boom. So, Elle, you look a little tepid here. Like, you kinda just wanted to get the ball back. That in those drills, or that drill that I mentioned, I want you to pop that ball, okay? So even when you guys are playing skinnies and you're at this fourth, I talked to you about this earlier, I want you to figure out how hard you can hit this ball. The more you work on topspin, and we're probably in the next month, if not the next couple of weeks, going to be building out our topspin course a lot more. The more you can hit topspin, the harder you can hit the ball, because it makes the ball dive, right? So if you hit a ball 30 miles an hour and you hit it out of bounds by this much, you can hit the ball 30 miles an hour with topspin and keep it in. That also allows you to hit the ball even harder. You could probably hit it 35 miles an hour and keep the ball in. So topspin gives you a lot more speed, among other things. You hit this ball as hard as you want with topspin and you probably keep it in. The other thing to think of is that if you could choose between making them hit this ball out of the air and hitting it off the bounce, you want them to hit it out of the air. Out of the air balls are really difficult, but what I mean by that is her waist and below. Okay, so we obviously don't want to leave a ball. Let's see. Let's do this. We obviously don't want to leave a ball from here up, right? I'm talking about from here down to her feet. Okay, I'd much rather you hit this than hit a ball at her feet and let it bounce up, because when it bounces up, it loses a lot of its speed. Okay. And a lot of people are used to just catching balls off of the bounce, and it's easier for them to handle. They're not used to taking balls out of the air. So would I rather you miss short or long? I'd rather you miss long, as long as you don't hit out of bounds. Does that make sense? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So she hits up another counter. Tough ball here. So what I would encourage you to do here, Jess, is slide to your left and get a forehand on this. A backhand here, that's really tough. But again, you're trying to just kind of stay engaged. But if I was to say, hey, how do you hit this perfectly? Slide and hit that forehand. That honestly was a really good ball. So this is the same ball you've been hitting, except it was just to the side, right? Like, it's still the same depth. It's to the side. You made her move. That is an unbelievable ball off of that. You hit a really good ball. You got her off balance. And when people hit off balance shots, you notice how they've been keeping them high. She got it a lot lower because she was off balance. It actually helped her out there, but there's not much you can do.
And then I popped it up.
Well, yeah, but this ball here, at this point, she's hit a low ball, and they've all been high, so they need to stay back. There's nothing they can do. Now they've hit a low ball that's got you at 9, but the ball's below the net, right? You have to lay this ball up. You can't. They're on the move up, and if you leave this ball high, they're going to punish it. So yeah, that's a really
But she had an awkward backhand. If you watch how she hits this ball.
So the right move for her here, just to counter you, is to know that you cannot drive this ball. If you drive, it's on your backhand. It's not a good backhand drive. It's not a good drive. That ball's below the net. It's not, and it's right up on the net, so it's not a good ball. She should have known that she was safe, and she could have moved up, and she could have took that ball that you gave. Although that was kind of a hard ball, you almost landed in the kitchen.
But I was trying to come, like, she's the one that had the hammer of a forehand. So what I was trying to do, knowing that she was bum rushing the net, was to go back to her backhand.
Yeah. But in this shot, you couldn't really necessarily. You just had to concede. I mean, you can go to her backhand and concede, but you couldn't put pressure on her because they hit a good ball. That's fine. That is crazy to me. But tennis players, it makes sense. And people who like want to play fast and know the other team can't handle speed, it's part of it. I actually like that you took a step off here, knowing that they're bangers. You took a step back here. Now, I don't want you to do this in games very much, but if you know that they're about to go, give yourself some reaction time. So there, yeah, that's a tough ball.
I was late.
That's a tough ball. She got you right in the chest, and I'd be like, oh, that ball's gonna go out of bounds, but it's not. It's staying in. Are you in continental here?
Yeah.
How hard is she hitting that ball?
I think I was also surprised at how much she got on it from that awkward, I don't even know, position that she was in.
Yeah, I would have expected that to go to your forehand, not your backhand. But she hit a ton of topspin on that thing. Yeah, so Not much you could have done there, honestly. Kind of a wild speed up. When you are volleying, make sure that you're starting to angle the paddle down more as much as possible to get that ball down. That'll help get that ball down on her. But she kind of just caught you. Let's see if you back up. Yeah, so instead of leaning forward here, we don't want to be straight up when we volley. We kind of want to be about here, like a 10% incline, or decline, whichever one that is. You're here, and then when she hits the ball at you, you kind of back up like that, which I used to do a lot and possibly still do. That is going to make your paddle head up even more, right? If the ball is coming off like this, and we're here, and we do this, it's going to make it pop up even more. So we want to be not just here in neutral, but we actually want to be about here. So now the ball is actually heading down.
Okay.
It's a lot of info. I mean, I want to answer your questions, but it's I don't want you to take this all away, but I got to fix all of this. No, this is like months and months and months, probably over a year of work. Like it's a lot, but at least you know what you need to work on, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, she pops, and this ball, there's not much you can do about it. Yeah. Now I will say a lot of overheads like this, they're never going straight ahead, and they're never going to the right. They're always coming, or I guess they're never going to. They're outside of their forehand. They're never going straight on their forehand. They're going to the side, the inside of their forehand. So if you notice, this is like a 5055 thing. So she's gonna go to your right foot ish. No, she went. Oh, I can't. I got the angle wrong. She's inside. Oh, she went straight ahead. Actually, I'm wrong. She went straight ahead. They can go straight ahead. They'll rarely go outside. They'll typically go inside. I was wrong about that one. All right, let's see another example. So before we move on, actually, how you fix that right there is counter at their feet. Counter at their feet. Get deeper. Get deeper. They kept getting balls off the bounce, and that was the major issue. Really, it's a lot harder to drive balls out of the air as well. All right, so serve, return, drive. This lady has a really nice drive. That's pretty low. Now that ball is better. It still bounces in front of her. It got a little deeper though. And you're getting to their backhand. Another good thing, if you can do it, is get to their backhand. Most people, I told you not to drive backhand, make them drive backhand. So if you can get it there, like you mentioned, like that's a big deal because it's really hard for them to drive it there. But most people who deal with bangers struggle to remember to get it to their backhand. So if that's a lot of mental gymnastics you're doing, but you mentioned you felt like you were able to do it. So yeah, I would keep doing that because that gives you a big ball right here. Great athletic move. It softens them up. So what they're doing is they're driving and lobbing. When they get in trouble, they lob to get you to give them a softer ball back. So we want to work on those overheads too, so that you're jumping up and punishing those balls. Wow, what the heck? That's a really good shot. Oh, I wouldn't even worry about that. That was a really good shot.
I think it tipped off the net.
It looks like it just tipped off her paddle. But it might have gone off the net as well. Tough ball. There's just a good shot. And I told you guys last time, like if someone gets by the shoulder, you're like, all right, fine, good shot. That's one of those where you're like, you know what? Good shot. But there were one or two balls there that you could have got at the feet line. Even if you don't hit space, you get it at the feet line, I think you're out of that point, out of that. All right, let's see what kind of damage they try to do on return. Good. Yeah, I like it. Good.
Yes.
Thirds go in the net sometimes. It's just the way it is. I will say you do need to start paying attention to how much you miss a shot. So pickleball, racket sports in general, but definitely pickleball is a zero-sum sport. It doesn't matter if you hit the tape or you hit the bottom of the net, okay? You lose the rally, right? As someone who's trying to get better, though, you need to not look at it that way. You need to have some nuance. You need to understand that if you hit the tape, you'll live with that for right now until you get better because you were very close. And so, honestly, as a coach, I would tell you hit that shot the exact same way next time, just with a little bit more confidence, and it'll go right over. So we don't need to rethink our shots when we hit the tape. We need to rethink our shot if we, hit the bottom of the freaking net or hit the court, right? Or maybe like in the middle. You hit the top third, top fourth of this net. So I'd tell you to just strike that and hit a little bit more confidence. Don't get so down on yourself. The more we get down, and you might not struggle with this all, but the more most of my students do, the more we get down on ourselves, the more we spiral. We have to find ways to be honest, intellectually honest about like how we're playing, but be positive and not so negative. Good. Really nice drop. Great drop. Great drop. Great drop. So this is going to make her hit up at a, 6 or 7. So really good drop. Yes, that's good. Jess, you're watching. So if you...
I was like, that's a good ball.
Yeah, so I would even start to take a step in, and you do that a little bit here. You take a step, but I would have... You're going to have to watch Ellen's balls and just get really used to the trajectory. We talked about this last time too, because this would have been a great ball for you to crash on. But you got to make sure it's good. So what we're doing is we're watching our partner. We're taking a step as we see the trajectory of the ball. If it's high, we're taking a step back. If we see that it's middle or low, we're going to go and we're going to see what happens. Okay. A little bit of a higher level concept, but I like it. That should be out. Great shot. Let's try this again. Boom. Yeah, I got her right in the chicken wing. She wasn't expecting that. Great shot. Good. That's just a good shot. So she's able to get a 9 o'clock on this. And she just hit a good shot. Notice she was much closer to, let's see where the ball bounces. The ball didn't bounce. So she got to your feet line, right? And she hit space. That's why that ball worked. It's a good ball by her. Did you get to talk to him at all? Did you ask them if they're tennis players?
No, we didn't get to ask.
I don't really talk to anybody either, so that's fine. I'm too locked into what's going on. But the reason I ask about that is if they're tennis players, they just have reps over years. And so that's what you're building now is reps. Good. Okay, that's a good counter. That's a good counter. All right, so bang, bang. A lot more speed. Still bouncing in front. But you got her on an angle this time, so she's off balance. Let's see what happens. Yeah, good.
Well, you had a person on the court. Did they not call that?
Oh, yeah, no. They just kept playing it. Crazy. Better ball. Good. 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 All right, let's go back. This is some good stuff. Much better balls here. Okay. So ball in front, but to the side with speed. So we got 2 out of 3 there. That's good. All right, so no speed here, really, but we got it to the side. We didn't get it at their feet line, but we got to space, not side. We got to space, so we're 1 out of 3 on this ball. Not a lot of speed here, but you got much closer to the other player's feet line. You got close to the baseline. So we got depth there, or we got hitting the feet line. We'll count that. Just got to think about it creatively there. 1 out of 3. I think that's going to be right in front of her, though. So we got 1 out of 3 ball there. So ball's in front, not a lot of speed. Let's see, and at her feet line. Now, this ball probably would have worked if we go here with it. Okay. So just getting it into space, right? But that one would probably be an 0 of 3 right there, right? That one's speed, and we've got the ball at the feet line, more or less. Okay. That's a crazy ball off that ball. Okay. At this level. Here, you did about as good as you could with that. That was a really low ball. You didn't have a lot of command over that ball. But you got to her backhand. So that's good. Really good. So yeah, as we're talking about it, 4 things. 1, hit the space. Try to hit 2, try to hit their backhand side. 3, hit with pace or speed, right? And then 4, hit to their feet line. right? Don't let them hit a bouncer. Don't let them get a bounce ball. Really good. You put them under a lot of pressure, and you just escalated till you just got a good ball. They de-escalated once, but yeah, that was pretty good. All right, so return. What the
short ball.
heck? All right, let's go back. What is happening here? It's a great two-handed shot. She's a tennis player. There's no way she's not. That's a really great shot. Okay, couple of things here. One, the return, because it's shallow and you're all the way back here, Jess, it opens up a lot of space for her. Hit that and return, or return and run here. Boom, and then just book it. Even if it's short, don't wait. Just go. I'd much rather you hit this ball on the run and be closer to the net than have to dig this ball out and be back behind, because now you're having to transition. Yeah, that was a really good shot. Really good get. Yeah, they didn't call any of those. That was out. Great. Good call. So yeah, really good get here. L off this ball. Jess, I know you're waiting. What you need, this is going to come over time. What you need to think is, I've got to get to this net. Okay. Right here, I'm probably taking a step or two because notice how far off the line she is. That means your ball has time to travel, which means you have time to go up, right? So I would move up a little here, all right? I move up a little here, two steps, and then as soon as Ellen gets this ball, then I'm moving the final 2 steps to the line. And so now you're up at the line, and she can't do that to you, right? Great backhand drop, though. And just out. Good. Really nice. But definitely don't let them catch you on a return and run. If you ever don't make it to the line in time, you need to be thinking, okay, I did something wrong. I got to figure that part out. Typically with returns, it's people watched the ball. When they hit it, they like kind of watched their return. They got scared because their return was short. Don't worry about that. Just keep going. Or they got drawn to the left or to the right. And instead of getting their momentum forward, they got the momentum to the side. You need to position yourself better on the return in that case. All right, big conversation. Good. Another good drive. Okay. Oh, are they going to call that? Is that out? I don't know. Are they going to call that out?
That looked in.
It's really hard to tell on this stuff, especially because it's only 30 frames per second. But it looked good. All right, return. Wow. Golly. Let's see. That's all you could do, Ellen. Like that's just a good ball by you. Good. Okay, good punch here. Good punch. That's down. That's the ball we want. On that other ball where you popped it up, you actually did the complete opposite here. Pow! Popped it down. That's good. Oh, she dinked it. What's happening? There it goes.
She dinked it. It was surprising.
It's one of her 100 shots, one thing.
Yeah. Well, the problem, I mean, the thing is if I was her coach, I'd tell her to keep doing it. Because it's working at the level she's at, with the caveat that you can keep doing this if you want and you're going to win, but you're going to you're going to cap out. You're going to hit a plateau. So I don't hate that she's doing it. She'll just, it depends on what her goals are. Great drop. Really great drop. Another good drop. Really good. Really good.
That was a great point.
So great reset. Let's go back. Good. Good. Really nice. Good drop. Way to take advantage of the fact that she's the returner, right? We should always hit our thirds to the returner. Look how much space she gave you to land that ball in. That ball on her teammate's pounding that ball back. This ball, you got a ball back you can manage. Really great reset. And right in the net. That was good. I might fast forward through some points until we get to some banger moments. Or I might not fast forward through them. I might just not comment on them unless you have questions until we get to some banger points. Oh, yeah. That's a good drive. Oh, okay. So this is the play we talked about earlier, right? So need to start noticing when you're playing who is vulnerable to this type of play. And before you even serve, be like, hey, this is what we're going to do if she's late. So she's consistently late to the line. And so you're driving this, and both of you are crashing on this. Look how far away she is. Again, the reason you can't crash on a drive is because there's not that much distance between you and your opponent. That's assuming they're at the kitchen line. She's at the baseline. You have an ocean between you and her. You hit this and run right up to the kitchen line. Go, 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 go. And so if you get right at the kitchen line, that point's over. That ball is right here at the kitchen line. You guys are pounding that ball, and that rally's over, and that's your point. Does that make sense? Yeah, that'd be a good one. Really good. Good, good. It was over anyway. Really nice. Boop, boop. Great shot. Great drop. Oh, close. Let's get one more banger point in here, and then we'll stop and kind of check in with you guys. Boom, 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 boom. Good. Oh, she dropped it. There it goes. Good. All right, let's go back on that. Drive. All right, let's see. Right to her forehand. So we missed on all those. No speed. Right at her. Not at the feet line. No, not into space. Okay, let's get this ball. Short again. Decent pace though. Good. And then they want to speed the game up. Good. Really good low ball here. So what did we do here? We actually hit the space. We actually hit their feet line. If they had let that ball drop, it was going to go to their feet line. So it's not that the ball at contact is on the ground. It's the ball at if you can do that, that's great. But the ball at contact in this situation is probably shin height, right? Middle shin. Okay. But that ball, had it been let go, would have bounced at the feet line. And then what does that mean? That means you get a really easy ball to put away, and you put it away. Really good job. So yeah, that's really the biggest thing on bangers. 1, you need speed on it, right? 2, hit space. 3, hit the feet line. And if you can manage it, 4, hit the backhand. Do you have any questions on that?
No, it's way more obvious as we're breaking the footage down to see we're giving them the ball that allows them to bang it at us versus like pointing it out where we're going to space to the line of the feet, and then we're the one putting the ball away.
Yep. That's always it, honestly, with film. Like once you watch the film, you're like, oh, okay, here's what's going on. And that's why it's so important, because pickleball's so bang bang that it's hard to know unless you've been doing it for like a really long time, right? So yeah, that's what I recommend to you guys. If I was your coach, am I that worried about you being able to beat bangers right now? No, because I think that's a distraction. I would just look at it like this. Anytime I see a banger in rec, I'm like, hey, we got to go play those guys, like as many times as we can tonight. If you know people that are bangers, schedule games with them and just counter, like be willing to go in and lose every single game, but we're going to get better today. And we're going to get better because we're going to counter everything we can, even if it goes out of bounds. And we are going to go for space. We're going to go for the feet. We're going to go for the backhand. And we're going to go with speed. I'd probably just choose one of those 4 to work on at any given time when you play bangers. You can't really think about all 4. And that'll give you a lot more progress. All right, guys. Well, really good stuff. Hopefully you feel a little bit better equipped to handle all of this. I think you guys kind of know what you need to do, and it's just going out there and practicing it. And again, the big emphasis being when you get an opportunity to play bangers, go do it. Be willing to lose, but be willing to be good. Like, or be willing to take those shots that you know you need to take.
Yeah, there's one quick thing. I think in theory we get it, and we need to practice on those. I think to me, one big problem I personally observed is when we were not fully focused for whatever reason, either tired or tired, we tend to be more reactive instead of being proactively thinking about this. And that's when they hit, we tend to fall back. Then, of course, as a consequence, the pedal face up.
Yeah.
Then we pop it up. Then it's just like go to a bad cycle. Sure. I don't know whether you have quick tip to comment on that.
It sounds kind of like mental fatigue. So I'm gonna give you an answer to that, and if you feel like I didn't answer the question correctly, let me know. But you just need to, because I've been thinking about this a lot, and looking into this. You need to, in a tournament, make sure that you are hydrating is important, but you need to be getting carbs inside of you. So like a really holistic way to do that is just mix maple syrup in with your water. I used AI to kind of calculate it, and it told me over a 2-hour period, you should not use this as gospel. You should double check. Over a 2-hour period, you probably need to have about 150 grams of liquid carbs so that they're easily digestible. If you eat fruit or something like that, it doesn't digest as quickly. So this isn't like for rec play and stuff like that, but that will keep you mentally engaged. Like scientifically, it's proven that when you are getting to your energy stores, your energy reserves, your body, you think your body's tired. It's your brain. It's your brain that's tired too. And so that's going to lead to a lot of those mistakes. Is that along the lines of what you're asking? If not, that's free.
Yeah, no, it is. I think that kind of, you nailed it. I think that's what my problem, because I don't have a lot of reserve anyway, so I probably need to be more careful around
Yeah,
that.
and you're in really good shape, so you're gonna have a low body fat percentage, and you don't really have any stores. And so if you have a high metabolism too, my metabolism's just in the medium range. You might need even more. So the way to do this is go to AI. I say AI because I don't recommend one over the other. Go to any AI LLM like Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, and just be like, hey, I weigh this much. I'm doing this activity. I'm suffering from mental fatigue. I thought about liquid carbs. What would you recommend? You can do Gatorade and stuff like that. I'm not a big fan of processed sugar and stuff in that. And so it just told me, all right, well, do you have any organic? You can do honey, but I think it's easier to do and less expensive maybe to do maple syrup. So I just dropped a bunch of maple syrup in there. I got my little scale and just weighed it and put it in. Cool.
Yeah, thanks for the
No
recommendation.
problem.
Yeah.
Also electrolytes. So I have my own electrolyte mix, which I thought was insane. But then the prices for like Element and all these other uh, um, electrolytes are insane, and they don't really have great ingredients either. And so I just looked Element like the electrolytes are important because they help you, among other things, refuel your muscles will take in more hydrate, like your body will take in more hydration off of electrolytes. And so it prevents cramps and like all this stuff. So I actually mix up my own electrolytes in with the organic maple syrup. And you can just go to Element, you can go to Google and type in LMNT Element base recipe and look on Element's blog. It's like 3 or 4 results down typically. There's a blog and it'll show you how much potassium, sodium, and magnesium to put in. And you just go to Amazon and just buy it straight off of Amazon. There's YouTube videos about it as well. Makes it really inexpensive, but you definitely need some electrolytes in there too. So, well, cool, guys. All right. Well, thanks for stopping by, everyone that did, for the weekly public Q&A. Remember, we do these every single week. If you'd like to be on, get your film, or if you get your film analyzed, get coached up, or even just chat. Again, we do this once a week on the lab. You can learn more about that at pickleball.lab.co. That's pickleball.lab.co. And hopefully we'll see you guys the next time. Peace.